Yes, I'm here with Aaron and his magic staff. We are reading the entire Bible. I am an XJW. We have here deconstructing Christians, those who have chosen the mystical path over the religious path, those who have chose the magical path over or an integration of the magical path with the spiritual path. We are a community of spiritual seekers who are reading the Bible to find out for ourselves what the Bible really is rather than what people told us the Bible was. You know how they told us, read your Bible, read your Bible, read your Bible, read your Bible. You know how they told us that, read your Bible, read your Bible, read your Bible. OMG. I was beat over the head with that. I was beat over the head with that. It wasn't fun. Who am I? I'm Reverend Valerie Love. How you loving? I am the author of 26 books on practical spirituality, Christian witchcraft, and one of my faves that people seem to love, Confessions of a Christian Witch, how an XJW uh, finds her spiritual path. And it is an incredible book about my JW experiences. So we're in the book of Leviticus. We are here every morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's get into it. After we read, we do our deconstruction and commentary. And the comments light up and it's all the way on and popping. About yesterday, family, you are absolutely right that YouTube had a known issue of reporting uh, viewers on live streams. It was a known issue with YouTube yesterday. I saw that in the YouTube studio. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 16 and 17. We are now in the tabernacle. We're doing all the sacrifices. Aaron is all suited and booted. His sons were zapped, unfortunately, by Yahweh in the story. Good thing this is simply a story and it's not real. So thankful because Yahweh just unalived a couple of more people, Aaron's sons, and Moses called the cousins of Aaron's sons and said, hey, take those bodies outside the camp. And Aaron was like, did my two sons just get zapped? And Moses said, yeah, and you can't mourn for them. Don't put on mourning clothes. Don't do any of the mourning stuff. Nope. Because they should have never burned that incense that Yahweh said was his incense. That's what they were unalived for. Let's go to Leviticus 16 and 17. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. We are in the World English Bible. It is a public domain Bible, unlike many other Bibles that are copyright. Yahweh spoke to Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they came near before Yahweh and died. And Yahweh said to Moses, tell Aaron your brother not to come at just any time into the most holy place within the veil, before the mercy seat which is on the ark, lest he die. For I will appear in the cloud on the mercy seat. Aaron shall come into the sanctuary with a young bull for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering. He shall put on the holy linen tunic. He shall have the linen trousers on his body, and shall put on the linen sash, and he shall be clothed with the linen turban. They are the holy garments. He shall bathe his body in water and put them on. He shall take from the congregation of the children of Israel 2 male goats for a sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering. Aaron shall offer the bull of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house. He shall take the 2 goats and set them before Yahweh at the door of the tent of meeting. Aaron shall cast lots for the 2 goats, 1 lot for Yahweh and the other lot for the scapegoat. Aaron shall present the goat on which the lot fell for Yahweh and offer him for a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell for the scapegoat shall be presented alive before Yahweh to make atonement for him, to send him away as the scapegoat in the wilderness. Aaron shall present the bull of the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bull of the sin offering, which is for himself. He shall take a censer full of coals of fire from off the altar before Yahweh, and 2 handfuls of sweet incense beaten small, and bring it within the veil. You shall put the incense on the fire before Yahweh, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is on the covenant, so that he will not die. He shall take some of the blood of the bull and sprinkle it with his finger on the mercy seat on the east. And before the mercy seat, he shall sprinkle some of the blood with his finger 7 times. Then he shall kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with his blood as he did with the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it on the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. He shall make atonement for the holy place because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgressions, even all their sins. And so he shall do for the tent of meeting that dwells with them in the middle of their uncleanness. No one shall be in the tent of meeting when he enters to make atonement in the holy place, until he comes out and has made atonement for himself and for his household and for all the assembly of Israel. He shall go out to the altar that is before Yahweh and make atonement for it, and shall take some of the bull's blood and some of the goat's blood and put it around on the horns of the altar. He shall sprinkle some of the blood on it with his fingers 7 times and cleanse it, make it holy from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. When he has finished atoning for the holy place, the tent of meeting, and the altar, he shall present the live goat. Aaron shall lay both his hands on the head of the live goat and confess over him all the iniquities of the children of Israel and all their transgressions, even all their sins. And he shall put them on the head of the goat and shall send him away into the wilderness by the hand of a man who is ready. The goat shall carry all their iniquities on himself to a solitary land, and he shall release the goat in the wilderness. Aaron shall come into the tent of meeting and shall take off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the holy place, and shall leave them there. Then he shall bathe himself in water in a holy place, put on his garments, and come out and offer his burnt offering and the burnt offering of his people, and make atonement for himself and for the people. The fat of the sin offering he shall burn on the altar. He who lets the goat go as the scapegoat shall wash his clothes and bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp. The bull for the sin offering and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in the holy place, shall be carried outside the camp, and they shall burn their skins, their flesh, and their dung with fire. He who burns them shall wash his clothes and bathe his flesh in water. Afterward, he shall come into the camp. It shall be a statute to you forever. In the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, you shall afflict your souls. You shall do no kind of work, whether native born or a stranger who lives as a foreigner among you. For on this day shall atonement be made for you to cleanse you. You shall be clean from all your sins before Yahweh. It is a Sabbath of solemn rest to you, and you shall afflict your souls. It is a statute forever. The priest who is anointed and who is consecrated to be priest in his father's place shall make the atonement, and shall put on the linen garments, even the holy garments. Then he shall make atonement for the holy sanctuary, and he shall make atonement for the tent of meeting and for the altar, and he shall make atonement for the priests and for all the people of the assembly. This shall be an everlasting statute for you, to make atonement for the children of Israel once in a year because of all their sins. It was done as Yahweh commanded Moses. Chapter 17. Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons and to all the children of Israel, and say to them, This is the thing which Yahweh has commanded. Here we go again, more commandments. Whatever man there is of the house of Israel who kills a bull or a lamb or a goat in the camp, or who kills it outside the camp, and hasn't brought it to the door of the tent of meeting to offer it as an offering to Yahweh before Yahweh's tabernacle, blood shall be imputed to that man. He has shed blood. That man shall be cut off from among his people. This is to the end that the children of Israel may bring their sacrifices, which they sacrifice in the open field, that they may bring them to Yahweh, to the door of the tent of meeting, to the priests, and sacrifice them for sacrifices of peace offerings to Yahweh. The priest shall sprinkle the blood on Yahweh's altar at the door of the tent of meeting and burn the fat for a pleasant aroma to Yahweh. They shall no more sacrifice their sacrifices to the goat idols, after which they play the prostitute. They shall be a statute forever to them. This shall be a statute forever to them throughout their generations. You shall say to them, any man there is of the house of Israel, or of the strangers who live as foreigners among them, who offers a burnt offering or sacrifice and doesn't bring it to the door of the tent of meeting to sacrifice it to Yahweh, that man shall be cut off from his people. Any man of the house of Israel, or of the strangers who live as foreigners among them, who eats any kind of blood, I will set my face against that soul who eats blood and will cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood. I have given it to you on the altar to make atonement for your sins. For it is the blood that makes atonement by reason of the life. Therefore, I have said to the children of Israel, no person among you may eat blood, nor any stranger who lives as a foreigner among you eat blood. This is what Jehovah's Witnesses use to say that no one should have blood transfusions. Just put a pin in that, and we'll come back to it later. Whatever man there is of the children of Israel, or of the strangers who live as foreigners among them, who takes in hunting any animal or bird that may be eaten, he shall pour out its blood and cover it with dust. For as to the life of all flesh, its blood is with its life. Therefore I said to the children of Israel, you shall not eat the blood of any kind of flesh, for the life of all flesh is its blood. Whoever eats it shall be cut off. Every person that eats what dies of itself, or that which is torn by animals, whether he is native born or a foreigner, shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. Then he shall be clean. But if he doesn't wash them or bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity. If you came for the reading of the Bible, there you have it. Now let's get into the commentary. First. Let's go to the JWs, since I am an ex-JW, or let me not say I am, because I am is an identity. I had the experience of being in Jehovah's Witnesses for 26 years. Let's talk about everyone's cut off, right? Denelzi, you cut off, you cut off, you cut off. If you do that, you're cut off. If you do that, you're cut off. Where's the joy in this law? Where's the upliftment? You're inspired to do this wonderful thing for your neighbor. You can tell the complete shift between this and what Christ is talking about, and more in the Gnostic Gospels, which I sense is more the true message of Christ than the Gospels that we have, the four Gospels we have. You can tell the shift, because in the New Testament, we're talking about a beautiful, loving Father. We're talking about being inspired to do unto others as you would have done unto you. We're being inspired to turn the other cheek. We're being called to the high ideals. Here is sin, punishment, 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 punishment. You do this, you pay this. You do this, you pay this. It's a very non-grace filled system. Where's the grace? Where's the joy? Where's the upliftment? Where's the inspiration? So Jehovah's Witnesses, I just made a video about this, and it's going to go on the Christian Witches TikTok. Jehovah's Witnesses carry a card in their wallet. All the JWs that are here, let me know if you have the card in your wallet. And PMO in the Jehovah's Witness world or the XJW world, XJW community means physically and mentally out. PMO, PIMO. So whenever you see someone say PMO, yeah, I saw that Jehovah's Witnesses just changed the blood rule. They are so flip floppy, this cult. And whenever one of the governing bodies steps up on jw.org and says, after prayerful consideration of Jehovah's word, on Jehovah's word, the governing body, just brace yourself. Oh, what? Now women can wear pants. Oh, what? Now men can wear beards. You needed prayerful consideration as to whether you could grow facial hair. I mean, the level of control of this cult is ridiculous. So, yes, I saw that and I saw it, it blew up on all the XJW YouTube channels. I watched a few of them. Oh my goodness, the XJWs were like, what? So, I saw that they changed the blood rule. And of course, they quoted the scriptures because Jehovah's Witnesses like to say, we follow the scriptures. There's only one problem with that. This is not from God. You're following a book written by humans whom we don't know over the course of centuries in different locations with different agendas, different ideals. This book is not contiguous. This book is not coherent. This book isn't even coherent from chapter to chapter. In the book of Genesis, two different creation stories with different orders, two different flood narratives with different numbers of animals. In one flood narrative, we read it, 2 animals of each went in, the other one, 7. Two different things, two different things that are being reported that both can't be true. 2 or 3 different sets of the 10 Commandments. And nowhere does it say the 10 Commandments. It says the Decalogue, the 10 words, and then it's kind of not 10. Maybe it's 11, maybe it's 9, maybe it's, who's counting? Who's counting? Dig deep into this. If people say, follow this, follow this, follow this, I was like, okay, let me dig deep into this. Let me find out what this is. Let me find out for myself. Maybe when I dig deep in this is not from God at all. Not one word in here that the Jehovah's Witness, we have our Bible. I got the Jehovah's Witness Bible over there. We have our Bible. One thing about Jehovah's Witnesses, we follow the scriptures, except you're following a bunch of books written by humans. God ain't in it at all. That's why your religion is askew, making crazy demands of people because it's all human created. So when they changed this whole blood thing, so let's talk about this blood thing with Jehovah's Witnesses. And thank you so much, Empress, for this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's talk about the Jehovah's Witnesses, the blood transfusion issue, and the card every Jehovah's Witness carries in their wallet, or that they're supposed to carry in their wallet, or that they told us to carry when I was in it for 26 years. I don't know what they tell them nowadays because, like I said, this is a flip floppy cult. So, here today, gone tomorrow. The card is a medical healthcare directive. Nothing wrong with a healthcare directive. Great. It's just like on your license. It says if you want to donate your organs or not. That's helpful. Yes. Put that information out there so that if you are in a situation where you are not able to speak for yourself, then you have already done the documentation for it. So they told us to keep this card with our license. And the card says that I cannot accept blood, even if it's life or death. Do not give me blood no matter what. So if I'm passed out and I'm bleeding out on the street, don't give me blood. I will accept not derivatives. I will accept blood substitutes like saline solution. So you're supposed to have that in your wallet at all times with your license. And you're not supposed to be an organ donor. You cannot donate your organs. No, you don't own your organs, Jehovah's Witnesses. The governing body owns your organs. Because if you owned your organs, you could decide what to do with them. But because you don't own your organs, because you don't own yourself, because you don't own your body, you don't own your bloodstream. And because you don't own any of those things, other people can tell you what to do with it. Now let's go further. So Jehovah's Witnesses for a very long time had a rule that you could not have blood drawn from your body, stored, and then used during a medical procedure, because that seems like that would be perfectly fine. Couldn't do that because according to the witnesses and according to what they point to in this man-made book, Leviticus, full of stories that are so mythological, it's laughable, that according to what it says in that book, that when the blood leaves your body, it's to be poured out on the ground because blood is sacred, because life is in the blood. Now, I don't dispute that life is in the blood. See, this is how cults get you. They say things that are not all the way false. They'll say something that has some merit and some truth to it, and then they'll just be ridiculous with the rest of it. It's true. Life is in the blood. If you spill your blood and spill enough of it, you're a goner. Yes, blood flowing through your body is life flowing through your body. We're not disputing that part. Then they say, well, because it's the lifeblood, it's sacred to Jehovah. Jehovah, aka Yahweh, aka the desert storm deity from Canaan or south of Canaan, is that who we're talking about? The desert storm deity, one of the 70 sons of El, who is a minor god, not even the big dog like El. No, 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 no. And the idea is that now they're telling you now that it's up to your conscience, because they don't want it on them that these people are dying because they don't take blood transfusions. They put it on the witnesses and say, it's now up to your conscience if you would like to have your blood withdrawn, stored, and then you receive your blood back into your body when you have a medical procedure. I mean, even in certain things like if you have, not necessarily, I think if you have dialysis, doesn't that mean that the blood has to come out of your body and come back in? Isn't that what dialysis is doing? And they did some mental gymnastics with dialysis, because you could still have dialysis or some of these treatments, where my grandson had to have one of these treatments, where the blood went through a machine and came back in. So they viewed that as an extension of your circulatory system. Okay, as an extension of your circulatory system, and because it was a closed system, it never actually left your body. So it's not like the blood is being spilled. These people are granular with their cult doctrine. Now, what they are saying is that it's up to you if you want to have your blood, like I said, stored for later use. That's completely up to you. But they're still saying you can't accept blood from somebody else. Now, why is this significant? I'm going to give you an insight into this cult that people may not realize who were not in that cult. They will say something's up to your conscience. And at the same time, there will be a right path, a path they really want you to take, even though it's up to your conscience. If you make the choice that is not necessarily the choice that they want you to make, well, I came to this conclusion for myself. It's kind of like oh, and you get points off for that. You, you're not strong in the truth. You're not strong in the faith. Whereas if you be a good little cult member and your conscience tells you maybe I should just follow along and be obedient to the crafty cult, then smiles and approvals. They have a subtle system that is unspoken of shame over certain decisions you're making in life. And approval if your own decisions are more what they want you to do. That way, they can be safe because they never came out and told you not to do it. Now, they still do not take blood transfusions. Be very clear on what I'm talking about. We're not even talking about blood transfusions that now you can just have all kinds of blood come into your body. They're not talking about that. They are. Who made these rules? Who made these rules? They got the rules from what we just read in Leviticus. That's where they got the rule from. So they made it up in their minds. Now, they're the only religion, as far as I know, that came to this conclusion by reading what we just read. Reading what we just read, let me ask you a question. Everyone who's watching, everyone in the comments, I love your comments. Did you get from reading Leviticus 16 and 17 that if you were in a car accident and were bleeding out, that they shouldn't give you blood? Did you get that? That you shouldn't have a modern medical procedure. Did you get that memo from what we just read? You tell me. I didn't. You tell me what you saw, because I appreciate many, many different perspectives here. So they say they're following the scriptures. They didn't have blood transfusions back in those days. The technology wasn't invented yet. So when they invented new technology, you're going back to 2,000 years ago and saying, well, that old thing applies to the new technology. These people are absolute lunatics, and they have millions of people following them. So if that's the thing that you want to do, and you want to follow this flip floppy cult in everything that they say and all the changes that they change, and you want to stay faithful to Jehovah, well, that's your prerogative. You can do that. You can do that. Completely up to you. Okay. Now, yes, judging is against God. Absolutely. Because when you consider it, these are excellent questions, Empress. These are excellent questions that the cult does not answer. So now we've covered why Jehovah's Witnesses talk about this whole blood thing, why they don't accept blood transfusions, why they make sure that their members carry a healthcare directive in their wallet with their license or ID, whatever if you're too young to have a license, then of course you have probably a state issued ID, and you need to have your healthcare directive in it in case your parents are not around. And so you can still be a good little Jehovah's Witness even while you're unconscious. Even while you are unconscious, they want control over everything that goes on with you. Even when you are unconscious. You think about that. And people try to say, oh, this is not a cult. It's not a cult. You can do the things that you want to do. They didn't force you. Mm. Can you now? You can do the things you want to do and still stay in good graces. That ain't the Jehovah's Witnesses I know. Okay, that's not the Jehovah's Witnesses I know. I've never been a JW, but I declined the blood transfusion and organ donation for my own reasons. Yes, my elder brother had a transfusion when he was born, and I don't want to end up being like him. Yes, because you know what's interesting, Dia? I thank you for sharing this. What's very interesting is that people who have had heart transplants, their personality changes. Most likely, it's changing more toward the energy of the person whose heart that is. So that is very well documented that after people have transplants, and it could be possible also with a transfusion. I could see that too if it's a major blood, like a whole turnover of your blood. I could see that something happens, changes with that too. But here's the medical part of it that we want to talk about. You get new blood like what, every 7 days or something like that? Let's look it up. Let's ask the AI. You're constantly getting new blood. Your body is constantly making new blood. So even if, okay, this person had to have this little transfusion or whatever Probably while they're still in the hospital, the blood cells are regenerating and they're your blood cells that are regenerating. So that temporary fix that they gave you to give you blood is probably just volume, because if you lost a lot of blood, you do need volume. You need a certain amount of volume. Let's say if it's uh, 2 liters of blood circulating around, and you were having this horrible accident, and now you have 1.5 liters. They need to get you back to 2 liters real quick. Okay, so they give you half a liter. Let's just say, I'm just using a hypothetical word, calculations here, formulas here. I'm not a doctor by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a doctor of the physical body. Let me say that. And now they get you back to 2 liters, and 2 liters is going through your entire body. Oh, well, great. And your body is continually making cells. While we have been sitting here just in the last few minutes, our bodies have created millions of new cells. Your body is always creating something new. Let's ask ChatGPT. Let's ask ChatGPT about about blood turnover. Let me go to ChatGPT and ask it. I hope I'm logged in. Oh, good gravy. Okay, hold on. I'm not logged in. So let me come off screen share and let me log in first. Because Empress, I never knew about Jehovah's Witness, grew up Christian, and that's a cult in itself, but Jehovah's Witness is another level. Oh, they are. They are up there with the Mormons, baby. The level of insanity is up there with the Mormons. Or FLDS, not even just Mormons, because I even view Mormons a little more reasonable than FLDS. FLDS are the fundamentalists, Latter-day Saints. Let me get this code that they sent to my email so that I can log in and we can find out just, hold on. We are going to find out what is going on with the blood in the body and blood turnover, and how much of the blood you are replicating by yourself within your own body. So I make this statement to say this: any blood that we receive is not for the rest of your life. It's a temporary fix, and it will not be for the rest of your life. Right now, this is acting like it doesn't want to bring up email. Maybe that's because I'm not supposed to look at that right now. So someone look it up for us, please. And then let us know in the comments what is in the comments on this YouTube. How fast do you turn over your blood? What, every 30 days, every 7 days, every year? How fast is blood turnover in your whole body? Like, did you have a whole new bloodstream? How long does it take your body to do that? That's what I want to know. Next, oh my goodness. Yes, they are not having, a lot of people don't know how the insanity of Jehovah's Witnesses. And here's why you never knew about the insanity of Jehovah's Witnesses until now. They operated in the dark. There was no people blasting them. Now that we are 20, 30, 40 years into the internet and 20 years into YouTube and Reddit forums and Facebook groups, and people who were in and who came out and were so alone and thought that they were crazy, found other people like them and said, no, you weren't crazy. They are. And the more and more and more people that spoke out about the horrors of this cult, now you're starting to see what goes on behind closed doors, because they don't tell you all these things on the first knock, knock, knock on your door. You just see two sweet, over loving Jehovah's Witnesses. They're going to love bomb you. And then as they love bomb you, they're going to drop the bombs. You can't talk to anyone else other than us. Wait, what? Yeah. We only talk to each other. Isn't that beautiful? Come on in. Jehovah loves you. Don't you love Jehovah? And we love you. Come on in. We love you as long as you do what we say. Come on in. And you're walking in the Kingdom Hall like everybody's like, oh, what's your name? Because you're so happy to have a new convert, new visitors to the Kingdom Hall because the religion is dying left and right. Great. And you know where it's dying? Guess where it's dying? It's dying in advanced countries where people can read and have the internet. Totally dying. Guess where it's growing? In poor countries where people do not have access to many books, and they're very poor and very, that's where Jehovah's Witnesses go. They go and look for the very poor, underserved communities of the world and give them this hope of life everlasting in a paradise earth. Because right now you're in the middle of a torn down, little village, all through South America. Very, very poor, underserved communities. Oh, it's booming. It ain't booming in New York City. It ain't booming in San Francisco, Miami, Chicago, Australia, where they had a big, huge Australian commission. Australia said, oh no, y'all got to stop because y'all are just doing too much. It's not booming in the UK. It's not booming in Germany. Check and see where it's growing, if at all, because they're just losing members by the dozen, by the hundreds of thousands, losing members by the hundreds of thousands. Many JW, XJW channels track the numbers on YouTube. Check it out. Look at it. Look at it. Okay. Okay, Denelzia. Let's see. Denelzia. Human blood turnover is a rapid, continuous process. Plasma is replaced within 24 to 48 hours. White blood cells, which live for about 120 days, are fully replenished within 6 to 12 weeks after loss. It's just a replenishment. So, what is the issue if you are bleeding out and they shoot a little blood into you? Save your life. And then your own blood is going to replenish. The thing ain't even permanent. Mm. They're revamping a lot of the unwritten rules in order to stop the people leaving. That's exactly what they're attempting to do, Alma. Isn't that what they're attempting to do? Doesn't stop the hemorrhage. And the young people that are in it, they're all leaving. The young people, if you have TikTok and you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, anywhere between 16 and 25, 28, and you have TikTok, are you really going to be in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses? That's your grandma's religion. Come on now, don't be insane. They came back to my home again. This time I didn't answer the door. I live in North Carolina. Yes, indeed. Yes, yes, Alma. I saw that now you can go to college. After they told all of us do not go to college, it was a den of iniquity, nothing but sex, drugs, and rock and roll 24/7. It'll take you away from Jehovah. Then they got a whole bunch of people that can't hardly get jobs and live a subpar existence because they have no education. And I'm not saying education is the way to have the prosperity you desire in life, because it's not. It's that way for some people. Yet if the option is not there, some people will go to college and they'll thrive. Just like my daughter, she went to college, she has a master's, and she is thriving. She's got a fat, cushy, very nice job in DC. Some people don't go to college, like my older two children. They did not go to college, both of them thriving. My daughter does hair, my son is an artist, both of them thriving. College is not for everyone. So I don't want to make it seem I didn't go to college. And I didn't go to college because of the cult. And later on, I was very thankful that I did not go to college because I did not get the indoctrination that happens at academic institutions that I'm now seeing as an independent researcher. I kept my own mind the entire time. And for that, I'm very grateful. That's how I can be an independent researcher and research anything and everything I desire to the level I desire, because I was never put on that track in college. I took some college classes, so I never went in all the way and got a degree. When I was taking a few college classes, I was like, okay. And I took the few college classes later on in life. I didn't even take them at 18. At 18, when I graduated. Let me share something else with you about how life was when I was growing up, which is very different now. When I was growing up, you could graduate high school as a registered nurse. Did you hear what I said? You with no further requirement of education. You can't do that now. I think to be a registered nurse, I think to be an RN, you have to go to school for another 4 years after high school. They used to teach nursing in high school. They used to teach electrician in high school. They used to teach woodworking and carpentry in high school. They used to teach home economics in high school. They taught me secretarial science in high school, where I learned how to write 120 words per minute because people still took dictation, typed it out on a typewriter, showed the letter to the boss. The I know this is the Stone Ages. 20-year-olds are saying, I forget what gen we're on. Is it gen ABCD XYZ? They don't even what's a typewriter? What's a letter? What is that? And put a in the envelope and lick the envelope. Look, they taste so nasty. Seal it, lick the stamp. When they came out with the peel and stick stamps, we were amazed at the new technology. Lick the stamp, weigh the stamp on the postal scale, see how much it went. We did all this in the office. We did all this in the office. This sounds like Stone Ages. You're right. That's what we had in high school when I was in high school in the 70s. So it made sense because you could graduate high school and be fully equipped and go into the job market and get a full time job. You could do that in the 70s, maybe toward the beginning of the 80s. You can't do that now. You can't do that now. You cannot graduate from high school secretarial science and go into the marketplace like I did and be making 10, 15, $20 an hour, which was like triple. Uh, I could make money. I could make good money, triple minimum wage because I had the skills, because I got the skills. It took me 3 years to get those skills of shorthand. I'm going to show it to you. I still use it every single day. I'll show it to you in one of my journals. Everywhere I go around the world, I write in shorthand every single day. I was very mad at my mother at the time. I was determined that she was the most evil woman that ever lived. Sorry, Mom, that's what I really was thinking. In the realm of the ancestors, and woo, Mom, I thank you every day. I thank my mother every single day. Let me show you what she forced me to learn. She forced me to learn this. Okay. Now, people ask me, is that Arabic? What is that? See, what is that? I'll give you a little closer look. What in the world is that? Okay. And this is Pittman shorthand. Look it up on YouTube. They don't even teach it anymore. I could write 120 words per minute when I left high school, and I could type something like 80 words per minute with a 90 something percent accuracy rate. Do you understand that those skills are totally not in demand right now in the job market? When is the last time you saw a job for a fast writer? Right? Fast. I mean, I'm talking about to take dictation from someone. We might go back to that if they blow up everything and all the technology is gone. We might go back to all the manual things. Don't get rid of your typewriters. Go down in the basement and get the old typewriter out if the things go off grid, or who knows what might happen on this planet, because a lot is happening on this planet right now. We may go back to the manual things, because when they take all the cars that drive us around and they go off grid and the Waymo is acting crazy, you got a bicycle. We have to revert back to the manual things. Well, we were manual. We didn't have computers. We didn't have the internet. So this religion telling people this outdated information in the 90s, in the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s about don't go to college, they were just hexing their people to be perpetually low earners. And that's what they want, because you can more easily control an uneducated person. And when I say uneducated, I don't mean you have to go to college. I mean you don't read beyond what they tell you to read. That's what I mean by an uneducated person. Anyone can read, or if you don't like reading, listen to an audiobook, or if you don't like listening to audiobooks, watch a video. There are many ways now for us to consume this information. We're in the information age. We weren't in the information age when I was in the JW cult. We were in the manual age. We were still in the industrial age. In the industrial age, sure, you could get some skills like woodworking and come out and do carpentry. Now they have machines that cut wood better than people. I mean, unless you're going to get this really skilled carpenter to make this exotic piece for your house. Yes, he's going to charge you, she is going to charge you tons of money for that. You know, some very exquisite kind of thing out of this particular kind of wood or whatever. Yeah, we have that. That's not how the rank and file stuff is made. Do you understand the difference as the generations have rolled on, and how at one point it was okay for them to say that, and their members would still thrive and still get great jobs and be electricians? They used to teach you how to be a mechanic in high school. You would graduate knowing how to be a car mechanic in high school and go and work at a car mechanic shop and get paid good money because you had specialized knowledge. They were giving specialized knowledge and specialized skills in high school, making you very useful for the world. And you were able to come out of high school in June, graduate in June. In July, you would have a job, and the job would not be shabby. You would be making some decent money. The world doesn't work like that anymore. It doesn't work like that probably for 30 years, or at least 20. Is this adding up? So the whole Jehovah's Witness paradigm is faulty. It's very faulty, and therefore it is detrimental to even the earning power of their own members. They're hurting their own members doing what they do. But they don't mind about that, because it's all about the doctrine and the dogma. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. My public high school, yes, these were all public high schools. I didn't go to private school. These were all public high schools. And I went to Washington Irving High School, and not in the hood. It was downtown in the in New York City. We call it the Village in New York City, where, YMCA. We had a lot of our gay community was in the Village. So my mama used to tell me, "Oh, be careful when you go down there." Why? Why? I don't think the gay people are grabbing people, trying to turn people gay. I don't think that's what's happening. I don't think so. All right. My public high school had trade programs: welding, cosmetology, nursing, secretarial. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They tooled you, they equipped you. You even knew how to cook because you had home economics. They actually had literal stoves in the, remember that? They even had that in middle school. We called it junior high school in New York City. In junior high school, we had home economics. You had the flour, you had the sugar, you had the oil. It was all neatly there. And each group of people was at stoves. They had a room full of stoves, and you cooked and you baked the cake, and then you put the cake in the oven, all according to how the teacher told you to do. They taught you how to cook in school. In case your parents didn't even tell you how to bake a cake. You were equipped when you came out of high school. You knew how to do things. It was very practical. It's not like that anymore, as we all know. It's completely not like that anymore. Uh, Look at that. Oh my goodness, Alma. They booted a lot of the lifelong Bethelites out without retirement pay. Now, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question about being a Bethelite. Oh my goodness, you done got me started on these Jehovah's Witnesses this morning. Here's the deal for the Bethelites. If you want to know what is a Bethelite that me and Alma are talking about, right? Like, what is a Bethelite? Do you know that they used to have men, young men, mostly young men, not a lot of women, mostly young men, come to Bethel? And Bethel was the headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, international headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses in Brooklyn, New York. They had all these buildings there, and they had dorms in there, dorm rooms in there. And you would have like maybe 2 or 4 new Bethelites, and the way that you moved up the ranks, it was just like the military or just like any other rank and file system. And you would work your way up by doing great, doing good. Now they worked something like 6 days a week. They worked Monday through Friday, sometimes half day on Saturday, or they let you go on field service on Saturday. And this was the deal with the Bethelites. They would get up at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and they would work all day at Bethel. They lived there, they worked there, communal. And when they woke up in the morning, there would be this big breakfast, and the breakfast was prepared by people who lived there. This is cultiest of the cult. They have this big breakfast, maybe pancakes, maybe this, maybe that. And Bethel family, and then the one of the governing body, because the governing body lived there too. The governing body, if you don't know who they are, it's like somewhere between 13 and 18 old dudes who tell Jehovah's Witnesses what to do. That's what the governing body is. And this governing body would tell, some member of the governing body is going to stand up over breakfast, is going to talk on a microphone, because the indoctrination has to keep going on all the time because you are suffering. So they have to continually indoctrinate you on why you're suffering. And they have their breakfast and welcome Bethel family, and we're so happy. And they make their announcements. And you had about 15, 20 minutes or maybe 30 minutes to eat your breakfast and get to your station. Now, when you get to your station, let's say you start at 8 a.m., right? From 8 to 12, you are going to be working. What are you working doing? You're scrubbing toilets. You are making books. You are working on the heavy machinery. You are cleaning the place. You are putting in windows. You are doing whatever the hell they tell you to do. Mostly making the books in the watchtowers on these big printing presses. And they come off, and they get cut, and then they have to get binded up. The machines are doing it, but the people are overseeing. It's like a factory. And then 12 to maybe 12:30, you have lunch. Go downstairs to the big lunchroom again, big cafeteria. They got the lunch all laid out for you. You eat your lunch, and then back to work again. And you get off maybe 5 or 6. And maybe you get a break in the middle. I don't know. They were probably breaking labor laws. Who cares? They don't follow laws anyway. So why should they care? And then you get off like at 6 o'clock, and then you have to dash back to your room and change, shower, and everything, get ready, because on Tuesday night, Monday or Tuesday night, usually Tuesday night and Thursday night, you have to go to the Kingdom Hall that you're assigned to go to. So you're assigned to go to some Kingdom Hall somewhere in New York. So you have to get on a train. So you get all showered up, and the Kingdom Hall usually starts like around 7. So you need to get showered and hurry up and hop on the train and get to the Kingdom Hall. Now, a lot of these dudes came from Kansas, and they were not melanated, and they were assigned to come to Harlem. And you could always tell a Bethelite, they look like those little Mormon guys, the guys that say Elder John and Elder so and so, but they still have Similac on their chin or breast milk hanging out of their lip, and they're elders. How are you an elder and you're 19? I thought an elder meant wisdom, advanced years, life experience. But apparently, elder don't mean that in the Mormon world. Anyway, back to the Bethelites. And so they get to the Kingdom Hall, and yeah, they were not melanated, the ones who came, and all of us were melanated in the hood, and we knew how the hood worked. And you get these Kansas dudes, or these, Milwaukee dudes, or wherever they were from, Alabama, wherever they came from, all over. and living in this place. And now they assign them to come to a hood that they ain't never seen a hood in their life. And now they're coming on the train in New York City. Do you know what the train is like in New York City? They're on a train in New York City from Kansas. People are looking at them like, you don't belong here. And they're coming to the Kingdom Hall. And then they have to be at the Kingdom Hall for the 2 or 3 hours. On Tuesday night, it was a book study. It was 1 hour, somebody's house. On Thursday night, it was the service meeting, Theocratic Ministry School, and the service meeting. That was like 2 hours. And then, you stay and talk to the friends afterward. You have to associate like 2.5 hours. It's like your whole evening. And then I have to get back on the train, go back to Brooklyn, get into bed because they got to get up at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning and do the whole thing all over again. Now, Monday night, I think they have some kind of watchtower study. Wednesday night, maybe you have a little time to yourself. Friday night, maybe you can go do some wholesome activities with a group of Jehovah's Witnesses. You can't go on a date. You can't see an R-rated movie. Even in your spare time, they already have the rules. Do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Then on Saturday, I think they work half a day. Then they have to go out knocking on doors. Then on Sunday, they have to go back to the Kingdom Hall of where they're assigned and promulgate the message. And then we, rank and file Jehovah's Witnesses, used to go visit Bethel. We're going to go on a tour of Bethel. Oh, gee whiz, we're going on a tour of the prison. So we go over and we tour it, and they show you how the watchtower is made, and all the Bethelites are just smiling and so proud that they're in full-time service to Jehovah God, making more Bibles. Making more Bibles. This is not the Jehovah's Witness Bible. Making more Bibles, making watchtowers, making all the things that they're going to bring and knock on your door with. And we're so in awe. Oh, look at all the food, the Bethel family. Oh, like we used to be in awe. And now, as I look back on it, I'm like, that was the cultiest of the cultiest thing ever. I was like, how much more culty can you get than a bunch of people living in a compound? Come on, Jim Jones. Dang. And guess how much they were paid? Anyone want to guess how much they were paid? Anyone want to guess how much they were paid when I was there? I don't know what happened later. Anyone, before we conclude, before we wrap up our discussion today of XJW's ludicrous system, guess how much they were paid. And anyone listening to it in the comments, before I tell you how much, if you're on the video now, before I tell you how much, quickly go ahead and put in the comments a guess at the amount, because I want to see these amounts. What do you think they were paid? And then I'm going to tell you. Let me go to some comments. Yes, Tasha, I went to the high school for health profession in Dallas, Texas. Could graduate as a phlebotomist, medical assistant, dental assistant, or LVN. Boom, there it is. That's what they used to do. Now it's totally changed. I learned to sew and do embroidery in home ec in 6th grade. Boom. Yes, they did. They had crochet, knitting, embroidery. They had all those things. And they had all the materials. And the materials were nice. Remember they had the sewing machine, the little Singer sewing machine you could sew. Amazing. When I was in junior high and high school, you couldn't take home ec if you were in the sci and math curriculum. You had to go to the CDC Career Development Center if you wanted to learn a trade. Only cosmet or auto. Interesting. Cosmetology or mechanic. Oh, Dia says $0 and 0 cents. Dia, oh my goodness, that is hilarious. $0 and 0 cents. $20 a day. Okay, 35 cents. Okay, 0. Okay, I'm going with $5 a week. Ooh, this is so good. When I was there, it was $80 a month. So that's about $20 a week. $80 a month. And I think they gave them car fare if you had to get on the train to go to your Kingdom Hall that you were assigned to. And usually it would be two of them traveling together, two or three of them. And if you had Bethelites in your congregation, you were just so happy. Oh, we have Bethelites. And all the sisters tried to marry a Bethelite, baby. Because if you marry a Bethelite, then you could just go and move in at Bethel and you don't have to pay rent or anything like that. You have all your medical taken care of, all of that is taken care of. Yet you don't know how to do anything other than the thing that they train you to do inside of the cult. And that is not transferable to the real world. That's the cult world. They're not making watchtowers in the real world. You're not living in a compound in the real world. Okay. Now, you might wonder, where did they get all the food? They grew a lot of the food on the farms, up in Watchtower Farms, because they can't trust food from worldly people. They grew the food on the farm. Nothing wrong with growing food on the farm. Wonderful. They had cows and all of that up on the farm. I'm talking about the intention behind it. I'm talking about the ideology. I'm not talking about, there's nothing wrong with farm animals. Have a farm if you want to have a farm. Beautiful. Nothing wrong with having a compound. If you want to have a compound and a bunch of people in it, beautiful. Make it all voluntary. It's not voluntary, it's psychological pressure. And people say, well, you can leave anytime you want to. Really? Maybe your body can get up and walk out anytime you want to. You will be disgraced and you will be dishonored and you will be looked at as a person who is no longer strong in the faith. And see how you walk around with that scarlet letter in the Jehovah's Witness clan. Do you see why it's a cult? Do you see what we're talking about here? So happy I'm free and so happy for the ones who are being free. Oh my God. If you look on these JW Reddit forums, these XJW Reddit forums, it is amazing how much they are leaking from inside the witness world. It's insanity, some of the things that are going on inside the witness world. Insanity. And guess what? Guess what they do? I'm gonna end with this. Look up the court records in New York City. Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, is forever going to court to get internet records, to sequester internet records for copyright infringement. They're forever doing that. They file case after case after case in the courts, and it's all public, to get the internet information of the people who, the disclosure of the people who are in copyright infringement. And copyright infringement to them is they took some sensitive document or some watch on awake or something, 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 and they posted it on these public forums. And this is copyright infringement. Well, when they get the information, they never file cases against the people for copyright infringement. Why did you do all that work to get the information and then you're not going to take any action on it? Because they don't take public action against people. They go back into their lair with the information and they try to see if they have a mole. And if they have a mole, they're going to handle it internally with a judicial committee. They're going to handle it internally. Oh, they're not going to take you to court. They're using the court system to do the due diligence and to get the information of where these people are posting this information, who's behind it, who is posting it. And then they're going to take that information and then they're going to go within and do their own internal investigation, see who's working on that computer. Do we have a mole? Do we have somebody in here that's leaking information to the Reddit forums? And then they're going to deal with that person. Why did my parents choose JW? That is such a good question. I'm going to answer that question right now. That is an excellent question. Oh my God. This, Alicia, this is the best question I have ever gotten since I've been doing XJW content. This is number one. It's the number one question. Why did your parents choose JW? Oh my God. One of my parents, who was my father, didn't choose it. He was born into it and raised in it. His mother chose it. So it was generational from my father. For my mother, She chose it when I was about 3. She was having a time, and they answered all her questions. She was having a time. Now, let me tell you the time that my mother was having. Let's go all the way back to the 50s and 60s. This is June Cleaver Leave It to Beaver days. There's no internet. There's no social media. There is, you come home every day, you sit down after work, after school, and you have lunch. So have dinner together around the table. There was no McDonald's drive through. That's the world we're talking about. You go to the supermarket, and when you go to the supermarket, there was no Walmart. Like sometimes people can't even fathom this world because our world has changed so much in just 50 years. There was no Walmart, there was no Target. So when we went to the supermarket, we got big 5-pound bags of flour, big 10-pound bags of flour, 5-pound bag of sugar. I don't even know if they sell that anymore. We got big bags of potatoes. Like it was food that you were going to peel and chop and cook. Do people do that anymore? That's what we were shopping for. And when you went to the supermarket, you only got staples because the butcher shop was downstairs and the fish market was a couple of blocks that way. And the bakery was a couple of block or so that way. You understand? So you would go downstairs. My grandmother would send us downstairs. She used to send my mother, her daughter, right? My grandmother had 4 children. My daughter, her daughter was the only girl of 4. My 3 uncles and my mother grew up in that apartment in New York City. Then my uncles got older and they got married. They were older than my mother. So one of her brothers, my mother is second to the youngest, right? She had a younger brother and she's second to the youngest. The 2 older brothers, they had gotten married. By the time I came along, the 2 older brothers, Uncle Vanis and Uncle Algie, they were already married and they were already having families of their own. My mother had me when she was 19 and still living home with her mother. Can you imagine that in the 60s? Like that was off the chain. Like, what? You're not married? You're having a child out of wedlock? We know what they call children that are born out of wedlock. Well, my mother used to go downstairs when you get, in New York City, you start going to the store when you're like 5, 6, 7. They'll send you, go get me a coffee, go get me a this, go get, like, you grow up fast in New York City. Well, my mother used to go downstairs to the butcher shop. The butcher shop was right on the corner and it was right downstairs. And my grandmother would say, okay, get me 5 pork chops, and the pork chops were so cheap, like everything was so cheap. Or give me a steak or get me ground beef. And they would literally take the beef and grind it right in front of you in a big grinder. And you would see it and go into like a brown paper and they wrap it up and put a string around it and give it to you. Like they actually chopped a pig, carve the pork chops the size you wanted. Center cut pork chops, thick, thin, whatever. Give me 6. And they would chop. This is how you want the pork chops. Have a big flank or whatever they make pork chops from. And they would chop it. My father was the butcher. And so they would chop it and wrap it in the brown paper and put a string around it and give it to my mother. And my mother would either give them the money or say, put it on Miss Taylor's account because they knew my grandmother. Everybody had an account at all these stores, and they would just write it down. Oh, Miss Taylor, $3 for 6 pork chops. Try that today. $300 for 6 center cut pork chops. Like we had the best of the best pork chops, the best of the best. I don't eat pork chops or any of that anymore. Yet when I did, it was the best of the best. So my mother would go to the butcher shop all the time. And Jimmy, my father, it's a beautiful love story. My father, Jimmy, he worked in the butcher shop. And um, I don't know how the conversation got started. But Jimmy, my father is when he was in his life, was an extremely quiet man, an extremely intentional man, an extremely calm man, level headed. His mother was from the South, they were from Georgia. And they moved to New York in the Great Migration. Do you see there's a lot of factors here? I'm going to write this story one day because this story is just so incredible. I actually have a book that I'm writing my life story and I'm going to make it into a movie, except I'm still living so much of my life story. So it's got to be part one, part two, part three. This is an incredible story. Well, in the Great Migration, his mother and father came from Georgia to New York. They lived in Mount Vernon. And my father would travel from Mount Vernon down to, actually, before they moved to Mount Vernon, they lived on 146th Street. It's coming back to me now. They lived right in the neighborhood, and this was like 150 something street. So he would just walk up and work at the butcher shop. So Jimmy worked at the butcher shop. My mother would go to the butcher shop all the time. Then my mother meets the witnesses. My mother doesn't know that Jimmy is already a witness because his mother was a witness. Well, when she begins studying, she's talking to everybody about Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah. It's like her new thing. And when she comes in and tells him about, Jehovah's Witnesses, he's like, "You're a Jehovah's Witness? Well, alrighty now. So am I." Ding, 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 ding. What? And ding, 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 ding. Conversation starts. Now, my father, who is the Jehovah's Witness, Jimmy, the butcher, my father was a butcher. My father is not my biological father. My biological father, all of them in the realm of the ancestors. I have a couple of dads and my grandfathers, my grandmothers, all of them. My biological father is Puerto Rican and he was into some shady shit. So he could not be around us because, and so mom was just out there having fun doing whatever she wanted to do, and she was obviously running with some kind of crew that was not on the up and up. And she had this fling and she gets pregnant and like, oh my goodness, you're 19. And she had me when she was 19, and she brought me home to her mother's home, my grandmother's home. So we lived there. Downstairs was the butcher shop. So all these things are happening at the same time. I'm growing up. My mother is out there doing her thing, doing whatever she feels like doing. She gets out there and she has another child 2 years later, still out of wedlock with a different person. OMG. My grandmother, right at that point, was just turning cartwheels. What are you doing with your life? So she was getting a ton of pressure from her mother. She was trying to figure out her life. She was rebelling. She was in angst. And here came someone in the hood trying to figure it out, living with your mother, two little kids. And here comes a Jehovah's Witness on the street corner in Harlem. She's coming home from the supermarket one day, and he says, "Would you like to live in a paradise earth?" And she said, "Tell me more." And he said, "You are so loved by Jehovah and Jesus Christ. Jesus died for you, so you have nothing to worry about." And she said, "That sounds good to me. Tell me more." And he said, and she said, and then she asked this question. He had a Bible and he answered the question from the Bible. And he has another 3 hours go by. Supposedly all her ice cream melted. She comes home, "Mom, guess who I just met? Oh my goodness, on the corner, Jehovah's Witnesses." That's how it started. And then she was telling, she took to it just like that, like moth to a flame. Like it was the answer to all my mother's questions. It was perfect for her. It was her jam. My mother stayed faithful Jehovah's Witness for over 50 years. Regular pioneer and all. Regular pioneer for the Jehovah's Witnesses. You know what I'm talking about. For the ones who are not, regular pioneer means you are also in full-time service, just like the Bethelites, except you're required to do 90 hours a month. That's what it was. Well, first it was 100 hours a month. Then it got cut down to 90 hours per month of proselytizing, knocking on doors, 3 hours every single day, 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 every single day for the rest of your life, hours and hours and hours. So my mother was a regular pioneer. My mother knocked on thousands of doors in Harlem, in New York. If you lived anywhere in New York City and Harlem, you probably met my mother because my mother would have her Bible in one hand and she would be knocking on the door with the other. Here I come. It was her jam. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. Oh, you found me my bossy Bruja. Bossy is my ace spoon. Bossy is the jam. If y'all don't know who Bossy Bruja is, I have known Bossy for a long time. A long time. Bossy came on the Sedona retreat I gave a long time ago. Bossy is the bee's knees. She's jam. Baby, if you want a real witch, okay. Because I don't say that about everybody. All these witches out here ain't real, baby. Some of these witches is bitches. They ain't all real. You don't want to be tangling up with some of these witches out here. Bossy? Oh, yes. Baby, 2 thumbs up. Baby, 10 toes down. Yes. I'm so glad because Bossy shared the Christian Witches Instagram on her Instagram, and she is just a beautiful. She is just an incredible practitioner. Incredible. And if anybody doesn't know Bossy Bruja, you better go find her. You better go find her at Bossy Bruja. Um, so the whole idea of why did my parents do this? Why? It was circumstantial, it was contextual, it was what's happening in your life. It was when you're looking for solutions and these people come, it seems like this is the answer. Within a couple of years of my mother becoming one of Jehovah's Witnesses, she was married to my dad in her own home with her beautiful 2 children, me and my brother. Then later on, she had 2 more kids with my dad. She was going to the Kingdom Hall 5 days not 5 days a week, 3 days a week. She was in field service. Her husband was working. She didn't need to work. Beautiful apartment. Friends that loved her. My mother had a major glow up in that religion. Major. Isn't that interesting? So, oh my goodness, thank you for asking that question. That's the best question I've ever had because no one ever asked me that question. Why did your parents choose JW? That's so good. No one ever asked me that question. Can you believe it? I have been on YouTube for 16, 17 years. I've written books about this. I have done buku videos on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok about JWs and my experiences in the JW. If I can help it enlighten anyone who's still there and who's wondering, you're not crazy. They are. Free to leave, free to move about the cabin. And there's a whole world waiting for you outside of the witness world. Just want to let you know. So no one has ever asked me that question. And that is a profound question. So that's my father didn't choose it. He was born into it. My mother chose it out of a very chaotic life of pressure and finding herself. That was her spiritual journey. And she lived it. My mother, when she passed, the double kingdom hall that they built, Manhattanville congregation, packed, jam packed. The Bethel brother that was given the little introduction, he got choked up when he was talking about Sister McIntosh. Her beautiful picture was there, and Mom was standing on stage. I was wondering how many people could see. I was like, Mom, are you going to stand there the whole time? Mom was standing right up there looking at everybody. She loved purple, so all the family wore purple. Yeah, that Kingdom Hall, it was a double Kingdom Hall, was packed. It's hundreds of people there, maybe 1,000 people. I don't know how many people were there. They loved Jackie Mack. Baby. Mm-mm. Isn't that beautiful? I'm very thankful for my mother's walk because if my mother had not met that witness on the corner, I wouldn't be here where I am now. Here's why. I had to come out of that very restrictive thing that she came home at 3, 4 and started right away getting us into, getting us to the Kingdom Hall, getting us no more birthdays, no more Christmas. Like she took to it like that. Everything. She made such an abrupt change. my grandmother was like, "What are you doing now?" Like, one minute you was hanging out at every club and juke joint. They used to call it a juke joint back in the day. My mom used to go to the juke joint, be with the dudes, be drinking. They was partying to Sam Cooke. Do you remember Sam Cooke? Everybody loves the cha cha cha. Do y'all remember? This is not as far back as Sinners. This is more like a couple of decades after Sinners. Do y'all remember the juke joint? Well, that's what they used to call it in Harlem, the juke joint. And do y'all remember that there was the Sam Cooke? He got shot by his lover. He prophesied it in a song. That was the strangest thing about Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke prophesied in a song about Frankie and Johnny. He had a song called Frankie and Johnny Were Lovers. And it was so singing this song. Do y'all know Sam Cooke? Do y'all know Sam Cooke? Because now y'all done took me all the way back to the 60s. But anyway, if you don't know Sam Cooke, look him up. Velvet voice. And he wrote a song about Frankie and Johnny were lovers. And how Frankie shot Johnny. And then years later, that's exactly what happened. It was so eerie. He got shot by one of his lovers because he was super smooth and velvety. Oh my goodness, we love Sam Cooke. Baby, everybody loves the cha cha cha. You love the cha cha cha. Baby, my mom was in the club turning it up. She was in the version of the club before it was the club. See, when I was growing up in the 80s, it was the club. I was in the club, right? I was very, I love to love you, baby. I was very Donna Summer, disco ball, sequin sparkles. Before that, it was something else. And then before, oh, come on, sitting at the dock of the bay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think somebody else sung that one. I don't know if Sam Cooke sung that one. I think the other one. Tell us in the comments who wrote Sitting at the Dock of the Bay. Sitting at the dock of the bay, wasting time. Mm, baby, baby. They was jamming. And we had records. We actually had LPs. And we used to go to the record store and buy the new records. And don't baby, when the Jackson 5 came out, oh, it was over. Oh, it's over. Mom, I have to have this $2.50 to get the new Jackson 5 record. You don't need no $2.50, girl. Oh my goodness. Cupid, draw back your bow and let your arrow flow straight to my lover's heart for me. Oh man, Sam Cooke, what? Sam Otis Redding. That's it, Alma. Y'all done took us all the way back. I love all y'all OGs in the house because the youngins don't know. They be thinking Beyonce was the first thing that hit the world. Beyonce wasn't the first thing to hit the world. And Beyonce knows that she pays homage to Donna Summer, Tina Turner, Cher. Remember Sonny and Cher used to come on TV? Baby, these were legends long ago, long before Beyonce. Cher had just as many sequins as Beyonce. Baby, do you believe in love and love, love? I can see it. She had the hair for man. Cher was the bomb. Beyonce ain't the first one to do what you see Beyonce doing. Baby, Cher was doing that a long time ago. Tina Turner was doing that. Everyone stands on the shoulders of the ones who came before them. Never forget that. Don't think that you have anybody Charlie Pride. Charlie Pride sung that. Okay. Otis Redding. Oh, it's Otis Redding. And then we also have Charlie Pride. So don't think that anything we're seeing is new. Nothing we're seeing is new. There's nothing new under the sun. People did this already and they did it in their own way. And then we see a new iteration of it coming along. And we always love to see that again. It's like a remix. So there you have it. My very fascinating story of how I became one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And then for me to grow up in it, get baptized, do all the things they told me to do, get married, live my life, have my first couple of kids there. And then I was like, this is horrible. Why am I so depressed and want to take myself out? This is hard. My life was horrible. I felt like I was in a prison. I felt like I was suffocating every day. I would just wake up like another day. I was like dead man walking. I was like dead man walking. Okay. Oh my goodness, Alma, come on, talk about it. Tina Turner and Cher. Tina Turner and Cher were very good friends because both of them had deadbeat husbands. And the deadbeat husbands, they got out of the contract with the deadbeat husbands and they lost all the money in the contract. They had a connection. They lost all the money. Cher with Sonny and Cher and Tina Turner with Ike. They lost all the money. So Cher and Tina Turner became lifelong friends because they rebuilt their whole empire on their own after they got rid of their crazy husbands. Isn't that interesting? Who tried to control them and everything and made it in the contract that they couldn't get out the contract. So when they broke the contract, they lost all the money. So they had to come and make their own money. And baby, did they? You couldn't stop Cher and you couldn't stop Tina Turner either. And God don't like ugly. Where's Ike Turner now? Where's Sonny now? We don't know, and I don't think we want to. Where's Tina Turner? Dancing in the realm of the ancestors. Where's Cher? Still living her fabulous life. Cher said, I was born with sequins on. I had sequins on in the bassinet. Baby, Cher is still fabulous. So there you have it. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. Peace.